Well, I can tell you that it's a bold but necessary goal, and of course, we now have to move very strongly to implement this. It certainly isn't going to occur just because we declare it, and we also need to do our best to resume the international leadership that the Trump administration totally abandoned, and to secure international agreements that will move the planet toward that kind of stance. So we again in our transportation and housing appropriations bill, we make a down payment on this. We've been moving for years toward making an emission-free public fleet, toward having vehicles purchased with government support be low or no emissions, toward making our housing infrastructure more resilient and more efficient, and so on. Uh, it is going to require large and small efforts to reach the Biden goal. There have been times in the past where we were disappointed, and yet we keep plugging away at the incremental goals, at the smart electric grid, for example, at the research program to increase battery storage. Such a range of things that all feed into this, and we need to keep our eye on how they all, in the end, hopefully will come together and make that not just an aspirational goal, but a reality. Well, we're going to need to move very quickly to get more uh, electric vehicles on the road. That, of course, is a matter of the preferences of individual vehicle owners. And that's a matter of the research feeds into this, making these vehicles more efficient, more good for traveling longer distances. It's a matter of having a charging infrastructure around the country. The Biden plan takes very strong account of that charging infrastructure and how that essential that is to widespread use. So we on the transportation front, and by the way, we need to reverse. I mean, just in the way of cleaning up the previous administration's policies, we need to reverse the trashing of the vehicle emission standards that Donald Trump engaged in without really being requested by the auto industry, just a gratuitous slap at our environmental goals. So get those fuel emission standards back in place, get the auto manufacturers back into a mode where they're making more and more efficient vehicles. But the transition to electric is is of course the critical thing. So that's just one example of how the transportation and housing policy are going to feed into these larger goals. The more committed we are to developing a green economy and toward making more efficient vehicles widespread, toward building a better infrastructure for solar and wind power and all the things that go into this. All this is creates jobs. It creates potentially massive numbers of jobs.